I've been lifting weights for almost 10 years now, and I've built a ton of muscle naturally. But for the first handful of years, I wasted a lot of time because I was following overly complicated programs and I was overwhelmed by all the conflicting information I was seeing online. So in this video, I want to share with you a handful of lessons I've learned about lifting that will help you build muscle and get stronger more quickly without wasting your time on unnecessarily complicated topics. If we've never met before, my name is Mateo. I've lost 50 pounds now twice in my life, and I make these videos to help you lose fat and build muscle using a simplified approach based on the experiences I have getting myself in shape and coaching thousands of people both in person and online over the last 8 years. One of the biggest things I struggled with when I first got into lifting weights was just being way too complicated with all the exercises I was picking and the programs I was following. I had a fancy spreadsheet where I'd plug in my estimated 10 rep max for an exercise and it would spit out a certain percentage of that weight which I should use over the next 6 weeks, and I'd slowly add sets week after week after week and then deload in the 6th week and then swap my exercises around and change my reps in reserve. I was fit, I was pretty strong, and I was in good shape, but for some reason I just never had the physique to match it. And the big breakthrough came when I finally realized that I should be doing less, but better. Less days in the gym, less complexity with my workout program, less overall exercises, less overall sets, and I needed to be doing a much better job with my technique and intensity levels. So instead of doing 3 different exercises for my biceps 3 different times per week to hit different angles of the bicep, I just simplified it and started training them twice a week. Instead of doing 10 sets for my biceps in a session, I'd do 3. Instead of swinging the weight back and forth using my hips to get some momentum and lift more weight, I dropped the weight and lifted with a more controlled technique, fully extending my arm all the way down at the bottom. And instead of stopping when the set got hard or things started to feel heavy, I kept on pushing, doing more and more reps until I literally could not move that weight anymore and I actually hit failure. If you look around at the gym, 95% of people are not training anywhere near failure, and that's why the majority of them look the same year after year. The next big breakthrough I had was when I started tracking my progress. And a lot of people I speak with are worried that their workouts aren't actually building them muscle and they don't know if what they're doing is working. The number one way to know that you are on the right track to building muscle outside of looking in the mirror and seeing that you're getting more jacked is to keep a training log. If you're using a good technique on your bicep curls and your reps for a given amount of weight on that exercise is going up over time, you are building muscle. So your goal should be to keep your exercise technique relatively standardized from week to week and aim to do more reps with any given amount of weight over a number of weeks and months. If you are getting stronger for sets of 5 to 15 reps without changing your technique, the primary muscle for that exercise is getting bigger. And once you can do a higher number of reps with that weight you're using, you can just add some weight, which will naturally knock your reps back down to the lower end, and then you'll work your way back up. It's like a slinky where the front end moves forward, reps, and then the back end has to catch up by adding load, and then you keep on repeating that. You don't have to get anxiety about always trying to add weight or reps every single week. It's not always going to be fast, and some weeks you might just match the same number of reps you did the previous week with the same weight, but maybe your technique is just slightly better, and that's still technically progress. And as long as it's a good, hard effort where you push close to failure with your biceps, they are going to get bigger, and eventually it's going to happen where you just add a rep out of nowhere. So what you're going to do here is start keeping a logbook. You can use the one I put together in my free workout program, or you can use your own spreadsheet for this. You're going to write down which exercises you do on which days. You're going to write down how many sets you do, which weights you use, how many reps you do, and any notes you have about the exercise, like what seat height you like to use or which cable attachment you used. This will help you build more muscle for every minute you spend in the gym because you won't be disorganized walking around trying to make up a workout every time. It'll also keep you honest by showing you how much weight and how many reps you did with each exercise so you can aim to beat that performance week after week and make sure you're training hard enough. And when you look back at your logbook and see that you're making progress in the right direction, adding reps and weight over time, it's just another piece of the puzzle that tells you what you're doing is working. I'm definitely putting this in the top 5 things you could be doing to put yourself ahead of 99% of other people who are trying to build muscle in the gym. Now, I literally got an email this morning from a gentleman asking me if he's doing enough total sets in the gym to build muscle. We can call that your total training volume, and it's an important number to keep in mind because if you're doing way too many sets and way too many different exercises right out of the gate, it's going to be hard to do a great job of what's actually on your plate. You just end up feeling super tired and not actually bringing the focused intensity and effort to each of your sets that you probably should be. And it's tough to make a specific recommendation on because your biceps might grow really well when you do 12 sets per week on them, but your quads might only need 5 or 6. And if you're over 40 years old and you have a higher stress life or some higher mileage joints, the amount of volume you can do recover from and actually adapt to so that you're getting stronger is going to be different than someone in a different situation. But you don't really have to worry about everyone else. You can just make sure you're in that sweet spot or that range where you're doing enough total work that you're able to add some reps and some weight to your exercises over time. If that's happening and you're looking more jacked in the mirror, don't fool yourself. You are absolutely building muscle. Would you grow a little bit more by doing some more sets each week? Yeah, maybe. That's what the science seems to say, but who really cares? Maybe you're getting a few percentage points of extra gains. If you found something that works for you that you can stick with, do not change it. And you might be surprised by how little you can do and continue to get bigger and stronger month after month. If you're one of these guys who's been doing 4 different exercises for 3 sets each, 3 times a week for your chest, and it's not growing, I promise you that's the problem. Cut it in half. Do 3 or even 2 high-quality sets, 2 or 3 times a week. Push them hard, close to failure, and aim to improve your performance on them over time, and I guarantee your chest will grow. I put together a free workout plan that you can follow, linked in the description box. It's called 40-Minute Physique, and it'll show you exactly what this could look like. Now, you can do all these things right by reducing the number of exercises you're doing each week, making sure you have great technique, good intensity, you're tracking your progress, and doing the right amount of volume. But if you just never give muscle growth the time that it takes, you are never going to see any significant amount of gains. Sure, losing fat happens quickly. You could lose a pound of fat in the next 4 days if you wanted to. Muscle growth is very different. It's a long-term game. And if I were to give you just an honest blanket answer to how long is it going to take before I notice the muscle growth I'm trying to accomplish, I would say this: give it 6 months of good, consistent, hard, focused effort training for muscle growth in the gym without missing too many sessions, while eating enough total calories and protein to support muscle growth. Take a look at some progress photos or training videos of yourself on day 1, day 90, and day 180. By the time 6 months rolls around, you're going to see some significant visual changes in how your body looks. But remember that if you keep things simple and stick to a few basic exercises each week using a good controlled technique, pushing them very close to failure or all the way to failure, and aiming to do some more reps with the given weight over time without compromising your technique, and noting your performance in a logbook so you can be sure you're training hard enough and actually progressing, you will see all kinds of progress before that 6-month mark ever hits. You're gonna see your reps going up in the gym. You're gonna start feeling your body getting firmer. Clothes are gonna fit differently. You're gonna see muscle growth happening visually on your body. And when you look back at that video you've taken of yourself on day 0 and you put it side by side on the video of yourself 6 months later, you're gonna feel really excited about the progress you've made. I hope this video helps. And if you feel like you've got your training nailed down, you just don't know what you should be doing on the nutrition side of things, go watch this video next where I share 9 things I wish I knew before getting to 15% body fat, where I give you some useful tips on what you could be doing with your food to get faster visual progress.